Sportsmole previews the final day of Premier League action as Tottenham Hotspur take on visitors Leicester City at Wembley Stadium. Tottenham Hotspur take on Leicester City at Wembley Stadium on the final day of the Premier League season, with Mauricio Pochettino's charges having already sealed Champions League qualification. Claude Puel's Foxes will be heading to London in positive spirits after beating Arsenal last time out and will now be looking to take another scalp against a capital club. Tottenham Hotspur copyright offside Wednesday's win over Newcastle United, coupled with Chelsea's slip-up against Huddersfield Town, has seen Pochettino's charges secure a top-4 finish with a single game to spare. Heading back to Wembley for their final game of the season, Spurs now know that they will once again be competing in the same elite European tournament next season that they were able to turn heads in this term. With Manchester City running away with the league and Manchester United knocking them out of the FA Cup, securing Champions League qualification will have been the paramount objective for Pochettino as he aims to keep this group of Spurs players together over a busy summer window. Critics this season have highlighted the lack of silverware despite Tottenham's progressive approach domestically and on the continent, but it is worth noting that under Pochettino the club have now secured a third straight top-4 finish, a feat that would have seemed unthinkable less than a decade ago. With a new ground awaiting Spurs next season, both Daniel Levy and Pochettino will be hoping to keep the likes of Harry Kane, Dele Alli and Christian Eriksen at the club as Tottenham head to the new White Hart Lane with visions of transitioning into one of the leading lights on the European stage. Some fans might have feared the switch to a season at Wembley might have scuppered the chances of performing in line with those ambitions, but Spurs have adapted admirably to their new surroundings this term. Going into the closing game at Wembley, Spurs have lost just once in 17 games after losing at home on the opening day of the campaign. Kane has stumbled in his pursuit of a third consecutive Golden Boot, as the award looks to be heading Mohamed Salah's way, although Kane will be looking to the season's final game aiming to add to his home tally of 13 goals in his last 14 showings at Wembley. The England forward faces Leicester with an impressive record against the Foxes. Kane has scored 9 against the Leicester, representing the most amount of goals the 24-year-old has netted against a single team. Recent form, WLDWLW. Recent form, all competitions, LDLWLW. Leicester City copyright Silver Hub. The Foxes produced a perplexing, but ultimately uplifting, showing against Arsenal on Wednesday as Claude Puel's men beat the Gunners 3-1 during Arsene Wenger's penultimate game in charge. The victory at the King Power brought an end to a poor run that had seen the under-fire Frenchman winless in 5 contests. It has been a peculiar time in charge for Puel, who proved an effective firefighter having stepped in for Craig Shakespeare in October, but a poor 2018 compounded by woeful defeats to both Crystal Palace and West Ham United has left the former Southampton boss under mounting pressure. The victory over the Gunners will doubtless show fans the sort of feats that this current Leicester crop are capable of, but the manner of their defeats in recent months will do little to convince Foxes supporters that Puel is the right candidate to utilize their talents. On the final day, the Foxes will be travelling to London aiming to produce their first victory in 7 Premier League fixtures in the capital. Should the visitors win out at Wembley, it would be the first league double that the Foxes have achieved over Spurs since the 1998-99 campaign. The trip down the M1 will also see the Foxes attempt to overturn some troublesome away form that has seen Leicester claim just 2 victories from their last 9 trips on the road. Jamie Vardy will be heading into the last game of the season looking to cement himself in Gareth Southgate's England squad for the World Cup. The industrious forward has scored 24 goals against the league's recognized Big Six teams since making his debut for the club in 2014. Puel will know that the win over Arsenal might just have given the Leicester board some slight food for thought after an indifferent 2018, and the coach will be hoping for something special away from home as the Foxes aim to sneak into 8th place in the standings come Sunday evening. Recent form. LLW team news. Copyright Silver Hubbertier could come back into midfield for Spurs after missing out against the Magpies with an illness, although Kieran Trippier, Moussa Dembele and Victor Wanyama are all doubtful with injury issues. Kane should lead the home side's attacking line with support likely coming from Son Heung-min, Ali and Eriksen. Puel's squad has been knocked by injuries of late, and the Foxes could be missing as many as 10 players for the trip to London. Mark Albrighton is serving a suspension, while the likes of Danny Simpson, Shinji Okazaki and Kasper Schmeichel are carrying niggles. Tottenham Hotspur possible starting lineup: Loris, Alderweireld, Sanchez, Vertonghen, Rose, Sissoko, Dier, Lamela, Ali, Eriksen, Canel. Leicester City possible starting lineup: Jakubovic, Simpson, Morgan, Maguire, Fuchs, Mahrez, Silva, Chowdhury, Diabate, Vardy, Iheanacho. Head-to-head, Spurs have only been able to find a way past Leicester on one occasion in their last 5 Premier League meetings. That victory came courtesy of a 6-1 thrashing in May of last season. In the reverse of this fixture earlier in the campaign, the Foxes produced a hard-fought 2-1 win over Spurs, Vardy and Riyad Mahrez proving the difference at the King Power. The clubs have met 23 times in the history of the Premier League. Leicester actually have the upper hand over Spurs with 10 wins compared to the Londoners' 8 across that period. We say, Tottenham Hotspur 2-0 Leicester City. A victory for Spurs would cement third place above Liverpool with no questions asked, and Pochettino will be expecting nothing less from his charges at home. Tottenham are undefeated in 35 out of their last 37 home fixtures in the Premier League, and despite some recent wobbles will be confident of ending the campaign with another victory. The Foxes will be full of confidence after ending a poor run with a standout victory against Arsenal, although this Leicester side have been dogged by inconsistency since the turn of the year.